Hello, we're live. Welcome back. Welcome back to your favorite movie news podcast, the Cinema
Mhm.
Scrutiny podcast. Um, as you guys know, I can't count, but my co-host can
That is
in this
true.
China group.
Yeah.
So
How you doing, Billy?
good, good. It's been a long week, as always. I feel like I said
Yeah.
that every week, but
Yeah, it's always a struggle during a pandemic. There's no easy week.
the weeks are long, as they are. I don't know,
Yeah.
but we got some interesting news this week. Um, Mostly some superhero stuff, but you know I like the topics. I think it'll be good.
hmm
Um, so I guess we're just gonna jump right into it.
Yeah, actually,
Um,
real quick before you jump in,
yeah.
this is actually 17 plus 1 is 18.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, we almost got away with it. We almost got away with not doing the math. I did the math. Don't worry.
Thank God.
Yeah, new
Because
number, 18. It's crazy.
I was losing sleep over it this week. I
hmm
couldn't I couldn't put the pieces together. But
Yeah, I was really trying to put my math minor to work, but it's a
I,
struggle, you know?
yeah. Well, thank God we have that asset.
hmm
But as John said, episode 18. Let's hop right into it. We have some pretty good Disney Plus WandaVision news. We have a release date.
hmm
And that release date is January 15th, I believe.
Yes, it is. You are
Yes,
correct.
January 15th. And we were expecting this to be before the end of the year, but it looks like they're pushing it off to top off first quarter 2021.
Yeah.
Um,
So it's great to see an official release date because I think that everyone is really excited for this show specifically.
right.
I think it's going to set the tone going forward for what Marvel Cinematic Universe television really is.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they had like those other shows like Agents of Shield and Inhumans was like a TV show, but like the quality clearly wasn't there on those compared to this. Like this feels like movie level quality,
Right.
and so we're gonna see what happens. I'm a little disappointed because they were alluding for a long time to the idea that this was going to be coming out before the end of the year. But
Hmm. Yeah.
honestly, I mean, it's November 16th today. Given the current state of Mando, like Mandalorian, I think is going to end around Christmas.
Right.
So it almost like, it's almost like what were we thinking that it would come out at the same time? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they don't want it to overlap or anything.
Yeah,
That would-
because my guess is that because I don't think they've actually fully said it, but like my guess is that WandaVision does the same thing, where it's every Friday, like the same like slot. You know what I mean?
yeah, like a weekly release drop.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I think they're also it's an interesting time. I guess it would have made sense if it came out in December or January, but it looks like they're kind of teeing up for a potential award season run, maybe.
This possible.
Um, just because they're kind of dropping in that time,
hmm
um, which I wouldn't be surprised if they try to swing for that because Mandalorian obviously has, gotten a bunch of awards. And Marvel has they've been a little left out in that realm, I guess. I mean, obviously, like Black Panther got a bunch of nominations and won a couple of awards, but none of the major Oscars. I guess they won costume and they won makeup. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Um,
So you think they're gonna try to swing for the top Emmys?
yeah, I think they're gonna, and I also think the Emmys are a little bit more open, I guess you could say, to the superhero genre. So
Sure. Yeah, I think they. I don't know. I mean, it would have to be really good. Like, I
yeah,
think that there's if any year that a superhero show would have more of a chance, it's a year where less content is coming out in general, like this one.
it's true.
Unfortunately, I mean, I think they're worth it in some cases, but I mean, just some of the stuff that I've seen this year, like we both saw the Queen's Gambit on Netflix, which is a limited
Yep,
series, and that is an
very good.
amazing limited series.
Yep.
But that would be in contention at the Emmys. I would assume, honestly, with this, I would assume WandaVision also is considered a limited series.
I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah,
because it's only 6 episodes, I think,
yeah, and
or
I
7.
don't think they'd make another season. I know that like
Yeah.
it's possible they never really said no, but I feel like this would always be limited. And like the Queen's Gambit, like that is some cinema. Like that is good shit.
Yeah, it was really good stuff.
Yeah, without getting into it here, just because we might do a topic on it eventually, but like if you guys haven't seen it, you should definitely go watch it.
Very nice. I knocked it out. just this week.
Yeah.
It's a pretty quick mini series, but very worth it over on Netflix.
Yeah. So like the question is, does this even come close to that? Probably not, unfortunately. But I think this is
Yeah,
going to be good. I think that this definitely has contention for a lot of different awards.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't know if it would win like the major, like best limited series or anything like that.
yeah. I'm not sure. I just think it's kind of a little coincidence with the timing and everything, the way everything's lining up, I guess. But you're right. I mean, it's got good competition, and not to mention, Miss Maisel season 3 came out, and I'm sure that's gonna be a contender.
Uh, I think that might have already been at the last Emmys. It was like right before.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Oh,
I could be
well,
wrong. I know that every season fucking sweeps, so it doesn't really matter.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, well,
but yeah.
I guess we'll see. We'll see when the time comes and how good it'll be. I'm sure we'll do a pilot review once it drops. We'll
Mm,
probably approach it like The Mandalorian, do like a pilot and then little full series type of review.
yeah, I agree.
But that's for when that time comes. I guess transitioning
Sure.
to the movie side of Marvel. We have a little update on Black Panther. Um, Obviously, we haven't really been like, well, no one's really been like glossing over like what to do with Black Panther because people are just kind of giving it time, letting Chadwick Boseman passing, let that sink in and happen and not rush anything.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like they've come out and said that there's not going to be any digital double or CG double for Chadwick Boseman um, for the franchise, which I'm kind of not surprised about. I kind of anticipated this.
Mm,
There's, I knew there were definitely going to be people that were going to be pissed if they do it. Um,
yeah.
but I don't know. I almost, I don't know if I never knew if they were really going to do it or not. But if they were, it would have been like the Grand Moff Tarkin thing from Rogue One,
Yeah.
you know. But
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know what scenario they'd use that in, because they're gonna have to kill him off, I guess. But
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
question I guess is, do they do it on screen? And as much as this, you know, as much as I agree with you, I think this was like a given.
Hmm.
I think that it doesn't rule out as many possibilities as you might think.
Yeah.
Like I could still see, like I think the most likely solution, no matter what, is that there is a body double in a like in the Black Panther
In his
suit,
suit.
and he just
Yeah.
doesn't take that like the helmet off. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whether or not they could also reuse dialogue, or they could reuse a shot where the helmet comes off.
Hmm.
I feel like kind of like how with Carrie Fisher, like they didn't use a digital double for Carrie Fisher in um, oh god, what's the last one even called? It was so bad. The Last Skywalker,
Oh.
Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Damn, that's unfortunate. Star Wars, whatever. But like, it obviously, they like kind of just shot around the footage that they already had.
Right.
Yeah, which isn't. I'm trying to like now. I'm just thinking about digital body doubles because it really is just Rogue One. Like it's just Tarkin and then Leia
Mhm.
for like a second.
Yeah.
And
Those are
that's
the
like,
biggest examples we really have
yeah,
to look at. I mean, the good ones, if you want to call them good.
yeah. I mean, they're the only ones that come to mind for me. But yeah, I think you don't like. You really don't need to. Like you can. If I was Marvel, which they probably still do. Unfortunately, they probably still have reusing footage on the table,
Yeah.
and maybe like yeah, like just using like old footage or just using a body double for just the suit.
Right. I think it'll be the suit scenario.
Yeah.
Um, I read a rumor earlier this week about the opening scene for Black Panther 2.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't even know if this was a rumor. This might have been someone just like pitching like a plot idea, but
Yeah.
they were saying like because they've been tossing around like Namor's name for this movie for a long time.
Yeah.
So they were saying that the opening scene of the movie is going to be like a battle with Wakanda and Atlantis, and then Black Panther dies in the battle.
Mm.
So then Shuri will have to take over from there, and then there's like family feud between Namor and Shuri, and it like heightens the whole story arc and everything.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that might be too intense of a start.
it might be like way too much to start off with.
Yeah, I
It's
mean, I
like
feel like
it's
he has to die to start the film, like unfortunately,
yeah,
or at least they do it even before the film starts.
right,
But
right.
yeah, I don't know, because like obviously you got to do something, right? But if you try to use like I guess it's a really rock and a hard place. I do not envy Kevin Feige or Ryan
No,
Coogler, because like so now I'm thinking, so we use the death of Black Panther, as a catalyst, right? Like you're saying,
hmm
does that not like does that come off as insensitive? Like we wrote, like we're using the like Chadwick's death as leverage, or like
right.
do we hope people separate the idea of the character and like they know we have to do something? Like the whole thing is tread. I don't want to. I'm already
It's messy
nervous.
waters. It's
Yeah,
messy waters for sure.
like I don't even want to say anything. It's bad.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Um, I don't know. I mean, this is really the only update we have as of now, and I don't think we're gonna get another one for a long time, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't think Black Panther's even on the. It's not even on the Phase 4 schedule, right?
Yeah, I mean it's like known, like it's there, the title's there, but I don't think there's like an official date
Yeah,
or
it's like
anything
Captain
yet.
Marvel. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, the title's there, but the date is not. So
yeah, because
I
Phase
think that
4 ends with Doctor Strange too, right? Or am I?
uh
Or
I don't
maybe
know,
Thor: Love and Thunder.
maybe I don't know actually.
Yeah,
Um, the schedule is so like jostled now because of all the coronavirus stuff. It's like I don't even know like what the ending and starting points are anymore for
yeah.
like the this current phase and the next phase.
Okay, yeah. It's looking like out of everything that they've named so far, it's looking like it ends with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I guess that would make sense. It's supposed to be some like crazy like reality altering movie. So,
yeah,
um, I don't know. I think Marvel should take their time with it, and obviously don't rush it. And I think that they will inevitably they will make the right decision.
mm,
And whether people take it the wrong way or not, I guess is another story.
yeah.
um, but we'll just have to wait and see. Um, but as far as like the rest of their lineup,
Mm.
uh, transition, another poor transition
Oh yeah,
into our next topic. The rest of their lineup, Thor: Love and Thunder is in pre-production right now. I actually saw a post like a week or two ago of Taika Waititi, like they were in like a script meeting or something,
hmm,
and they were outside as like the cast and crew were outside just doing like a script read,
yeah.
because social distancing and keeping things safe.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And like Taika Waititi was like taking a nap in the middle of this park while everyone else was reading the script, and they're like, "What are you doing?" But
It's nice.
yeah, it was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
But
typical Taika Waititi.
yeah, typical like cheeky New Zealander fucking fucking around.
Yeah,
Um, but we got some news this week about the Guardians joining the Thor: Love and Thunder cast. Well, they said that Chris Pratt is going to be joining, and that the rest of the cast is suspected to sign on or suspected to join.
yeah. So
Um,
the rumor, I know Chris Pratt is like pretty much confirmed at this point.
yeah.
I believe there was a interview with Vin Diesel like a couple months ago where he alluded to the fact that they were all going to be in it, and
Yes.
I think that's where the rest of them are being kind of like lumped in. But I think that Chris Pratt's confirmation pretty much confirms it. Like maybe
They would all be
not
there.
Gamora, just because she is kind of like running around somewhere else. But I
Yeah.
think definitely everybody else.
Yeah, I think so. Especially because at the end of Endgame, he left with them,
Yeah,
so it
yeah, he
would be kind
did.
of weird to like pick up and all of a sudden he's by himself, and it's like, well, where did the Guardians drop him?
Yeah, I
So,
think the biggest question from that was whether or not it was going to be like you were going to see them in Thor 4 or there was going to be a Guardians movie with them. You know what I mean?
right,
Because
right.
like I could easily because the Guardians movies never really line up in the timeline, so to speak.
Yeah, they're
So
very
like
weird.
yeah, so I could definitely see Thor 4 start and he's like in a totally different scenario and then, sometime during the middle of the movie he's like, "Oh, yeah, I was hanging out with them for like 6 months doing whatever." And then
Right.
3 years later you get that movie where he's in it.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's still possible. Like there, it could be directly after Endgame. You could see kind of something in the middle there. I think it really just depends on what Marvel wants to do, and I don't even think James Gunn, or maybe I guess he has written the Guardians 3 script.
Yeah, he has.
Yeah. So whether or not that still includes that, or whether or not he wants to change it, knowing, I guess, what's going to happen in Thor 4 because they're using his characters. Maybe he already knows. I'm sure he already knows actually.
He's probably got some kind of insight to it.
Yeah.
Um,
So we'll see what
but
happens.
I mean, either way, I think Guardians 3 has been delayed like so many times because of the whole James Gunn thing.
Yeah.
Then they got him back, and now coronavirus, it's delayed again. Well, everything's delayed. But I think this is a good spot, like just to fit them in and to keep them in the conversation of the universe as a whole.
Yeah.
Because I think they all had pretty good chemistry with Thor too. Um, Now that Thor is kind of on this like cheekier, like funny comedy esque kind of
Yeah. He
road.
slots in more with them.
Yeah, so he just fits better with them, like right now, I guess. And I uh I would assume like he's gonna continue having like this little adventure with like Groot and Rocket because they had their thing in Endgame, and I think that got received pretty well for what it was.
Yeah.
Um, and it'll be good. I actually would love to see Chris Pratt and and him like have their little arguments
Hmm.
as they do, because I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. I think the
Um,
chemistry is really set up there. I think my question for you.
mhm.
So Phase 4, we were just talking about it. There's not. There's only like a couple of movies. They all seem to be kind of solo, like, I guess, relaxed, kind of coming off of the big Endgame spectacular event.
Yeah,
No Avengers movie even slated, right? Like,
yeah,
no team ups of any kind. But given that this is like a team up without necessarily naming it in like the title,
sure.
do you think this is what we're going to be seeing for the next couple of films? Like, especially, we're hearing similar things about Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Like, I would
Mhm.
assume, given what we're hearing about all these other characters coming in, Spider Man, even, like,
Yeah.
that could be considered a team up. Like, do you think we're going to start to see more movies with, like, 1 to 3 people instead of, like, just 5 and 1? You know what I mean?
Yes, I think we probably will, because not only is it going to give more time between the Avengers movies and like that whole team up,
Mm-hmm.
I think it is part of Kevin Feige's like overarching scheme of like character development.
Yeah.
Because you can only fit so much time for these all these characters into one movie, and especially like the Avengers movies, it's even you have even less time.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it's better for like some of the side characters like in Guardians, like Rocket or Groot, Mantis.
Yeah.
Uh, you get some more time with them,
Mm-hmm.
and Drax. Like some of these guys kind of get sidelined sometimes in
Yeah.
like their own movies, and same with like Doctor Strange. Like Wanda is getting like her own TV show now,
Mm-hmm.
but like she's gonna have even more time in Doctor Strange, and Spider Man's gonna have more time in Doctor Strange, and it's just I think it's good to have it more reoccurring,
Yeah, I agree.
because it kind of solidifies the universe even more. Because even like through the first 3 phases, like we had some team ups. Like obviously, like Captain America 3 turned into an Avengers movie in itself, but
Yeah.
it's exciting for the audience, I think, when you have more crossovers.
Yeah.
Um,
And I think it can get more people in the seats when you start putting more, like, actors, down.
yeah, definitely, definitely. And like, I think overall it's just a winning strategy.
Yeah, I
To be
agree.
honest,
So here's my last question for the topic.
sure.
So I'm trying to think because, like, so now we're talking about these team ups, and I'm trying to think of like everyone who's like still technically a member of the MCU. And the biggest one I'm noticing not slotting in anywhere is like, where is Captain Marvel? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, like I believe they have Brie Larson for 9 or 10 movies. It's like
Yeah,
anywhere
she has
between
a
like 8 and
big
10.
contract. Big
Yeah,
contract.
and so far she has appeared in, if you really want to like consider it, 3. I guess 3 would probably be the right answer. Or no, I
Mm,
guess 2.
yeah, it's only two.
Yeah, well, she shows
Endgame.
up for like 2 nanoseconds at the end of Infinity War, I think. Or no, you just get the beeper.
Um, yeah, it was just a beeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, she didn't
So
actually show up.
okay, so she's got like at least 6 to 8 movies left in her contract. And the question is, where is she? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing with Brie Larson? Despite what the vocal minority says on the internet, she
Yeah,
pulls in crazy ass numbers,
yeah.
and she's a good actor. And like we like what I don't know. It's just like
I think they are scared of that vocal minority. I'm not
yeah,
gonna
but
lie.
we got to check
Um,
back in because like Captain Marvel, the first one hit a billion plus
right.
as like one of the first female led superhero movies ever.
Yeah, yeah,
And I feel like we just gotta, I don't know. Also, we gotta, if people don't like her character, we gotta build her character back up by putting her in other shit.
yeah.
And for the
Definitely.
longest time, that rumor was she was gonna be in Spider Man, but like, sounds like Sony said, what if we just got Tobey Maguire instead?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They
So
definitely sidelined that if that was ever an idea.
yeah,
I agree. Brie Larson definitely needs time or more time.
yeah,
Um, but even so, if she was going to fit in something, I guess I think Thor would be a great spot to fit her.
yeah,
Like, because even though they didn't really have too much time to interact with each other in Endgame, I did like the interaction overall.
yeah. I agree.
Thor, you could tell like Thor was like intrigued by her and like her power,
Mm,
but they never really had a lot of time to like develop that,
yeah.
fan that out.
Well, now the problem is now Natalie Portman's back, so it's like
Yeah.
we filled,
So Brie Larson is definitely not coming back now, like
yeah,
at least in that. But I don't know. That's a good point. I think they got to get on the ball with it for sure. They have so much other stuff on their plate with like they have so much stuff that's ready to be released too. That's like they're probably just thinking right now about like we got to get this out, and then we got to think of like what's the next immediate uh,
yeah.
films that we have to shoot. So like Thor, um,
Doctor
and Doctor
Strange,
Strange.
yeah.
They're like the first two priorities as soon as they can get back to it.
Yeah,
So
I was gonna mention it later during one of our things, but I think it fits it better here.
hmm,
Disney, I think, is gonna have to like very quickly and very soon. They're gonna have to make some big decisions and either just blow their load of like current stuff that they have, and then rapidly start quarantining and start like at least filming anything. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
Because and granted they might not Disney obviously. So the reason I'm saying this, Disney recently posted their earnings. They
yeah.
posted a loss
Quarter,
this year for the first time in the last like 40 or 50 years.
right.
Like basically since they've become like super relevant. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
since
they've actually had like a loss.
yeah,
Finally.
so it's crazy, right? Because I mean,
Yeah,
but like they weren't even. It wasn't even like slim. Like they were making money, right? So theoretically, the loss shouldn't even matter because they should have the vault to just pull the money from and be okay.
right.
But like you got stockholders now that you're public. You got a new chairman. It's like your first year as chairman. After Bob Iger left, and you basically fucked the entire company. And it's not your fault, right? But
Yeah,
like, you know, the shareholders are vicious, right? There's only money. They only see dollars. They're like, what the
sure,
fuck? So the question is, what do you do to start making money again? And the only thing that makes money right now for them is Disney Plus.
sure.
And like I think we're obviously gonna talk about it later a little bit with the Wonder Woman topic. But it
Yes.
really is. It's like I feel like we keep talking, they keep pushing it back. We're really running out of time. Like they got to start making money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, they
And the
do.
question is, do you drop like now like it's starting to get to the point where I'm like, you got to drop Black Widow, give me a trailer for Eternals in that, and then put Eternals out within 3 months.
Yeah,
And like while that's happening, you need to be quarantining Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth and Natalie Portman. And like I don't like you just put Brad Pitt in a box, I guess, because like you don't really need to do anything with him. Like you just, but like you got to start. Like I know that it's hard and it's gonna suck, and like it might be
got to get rolling on it.
yeah, like you guys got to quarantine, you got to buckle down, you got to like create your own miniature city where you can all live free from coronavirus.
They got
Like
to get the Marvel bubble
yeah,
going.
they
I
got to
mean,
go.
realistically, Spider-Man 3 started shooting, so
Yeah,
they have a blueprint, and Hollywood is moving. I
yeah,
think that they're just moving cautiously.
yeah. I mean, okay. So actually, you using the word bubble brings up a great point
Mhm.
that Disney literally owns ESPN and created the NBA bubble, and that
Yeah,
shit worked for
yeah, it
hundreds
did.
and hundreds of people.
And you know what they're doing?
Mm.
They're abandoning the bubble. They're abandoning the NBA bubble. which is weird because it worked flawlessly.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know.
I'm just saying they
I,
just got to set it back up but for movies. You know what I mean?
yeah, they definitely should. And but that also hinges on the cooperation of everybody,
Yeah, you
which
got to get the
is
actors, and now like
it's hard to do
the whole
sometimes.
thing's fucked because like actors obviously schedule like years in advance,
Yeah,
and now all their schedules are fucked. And yay, uh,
everything's fucked.
yeah, everything's fucked. It might get better. I think we'll eventually see a movie. Who
We'll get
knows
there.
when?
I
Yeah,
think we'll get more into the streaming service struggle in a minute with this Wonder Woman topic coming up.
yeah,
But first, I definitely want to hit this Snyder topic.
yeah.
Um,
All right, let's talk Snyder Cut for a bit. There's been some updates.
yeah,
I have been told.
there are updates. Our might as well be co-host, uh, cohort. Grace Randolph is back again, back at it again. She had a second interview with Zack Snyder this week. Um, the trades have been very disrespectful to her, in my opinion. Nobody's giving
Hmm.
her credit for the information coming out of this interview on any of the articles that I've been seeing. I didn't even link an article in the notes. Um, but whatever. We got the source direct from her
Hmm.
with this interview. Um, so there's been a bunch of different news drops. Zach was dropping all kinds of tidbits, and not even just in this interview. He was dropping shit on Vero, which I don't even know what the fuck Vero is. It might as well be like Zack Snyder's website
Hmm.
because he just like drops shit like it's like Twitter.
Yeah.
So he was talking about a Batwoman or not Batwoman, Catwoman casting
Hmm.
that he had but never happened. And it was Carla Gugino. I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong.
Yeah, that
Gugino.
Giugino. It's
Gugino.
very Italian looking.
Yeah, but she isn't she in Gone Girl with Ben
Uh,
Affleck?
that's a great question. I've never seen Gone Girl. Hold up. It's Carla, you said?
It was Carla Gugino.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull her up real quick so that people can get a look.
It was,
But
of course, it's slipping my mind
hold
now.
up. We're gonna go on IMDb. We're gonna do it live.
We're doing it live. We're doing it
She's
live.
in Watchmen, San Andreas. I don't even remember her in
Yeah,
Watchmen, but I maybe I do. Oh god, 100 actor credits. Okay, hold up.
she is a Zack Snyder actress, I guess you could say. Considering Zack likes to pull from his old projects a lot.
Hmm.
Uh,
She had a
hence,
slight cameo in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
holy.
She has a voice on a ship. I don't even know what
Oh,
that means, but super
I don't even know what
cameo.
that means either. Probably one of the Kryptonian ships.
Yeah,
But
but again, I think that's more just because I agree with you. It's like definitely like she's with Zack Snyder, like they like each other, so he's like, just do whatever you want in this movie.
yeah, exactly. But regardless, he was dropping tidbits about that on Barrow this week about
Yeah.
she was going to be the
Oh, I
Catwoman. That
forgot
was
she's
great.
the mom in Spy Kids. That's how I know her.
Yeah, that's who
Yeah,
she
there we
is.
go.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we have that tidbit, which is like, all right, Zach, what are you talking about? Like, where was Catwoman ever going to show up,
Yeah,
right?
and I think.
And then,
Well, hold up, hold
anyway,
up. Let's talk about that for a second, because I think that's juicy, right?
yeah,
I
sure,
think that him teasing this, I don't even think is for the Snyder cut. I think this is because for like a hot minute, debatably what you think of what happened with Batman v Superman and Justice League,
yeah,
like they were definitely planning for him to make like he was going to be the Kevin Feige, right? Like he
yeah,
was going to make a lot of movies. Ben Affleck was writing a Batman script. He was definitely in on that.
yes,
So I think that like when he says that Carla was going to be Catwoman, like he's like I don't even think it was for this necessarily. I think he's just like throwing it, like he's just throwing stuff out there. Like he was
yeah,
building the universe, you know what I mean?
yes,
And then it all just kind of came crashing back down, and now he's trying to I think he's trying to reestablish his dominance on the sector.
sure. And
But
we've talked about before, like, there's been rumors that if the Snyder Cut works out, he may be able to produce more content on HBO Max within his own world,
yeah,
the Snyder world. So he's throwing shit out there all day because he doesn't care.
mhm.
He wants people to get hyped because the more hype that's generated, just snowballs into his next project essentially.
Yeah, and I think that Warner Brothers I think actually wants him to snowball pretty hard. Like I was reading looking for articles, for all this info as well. Because the best source is the YouTube video. Honestly, if you guys haven't seen it,
Yeah,
we can't really link to it because of copyright stuff.
yeah,
But like I read somewhere there was like 75 or $70 million were invested in this new cut.
yeah.
So like, man's getting hype, and I think Warner Brothers wants him to do this well, reestablish like the interest, and then make some other stuff.
Right. And he's definitely fucking doing that. Like people are more tuned in than ever.
Yeah.
Um, but on top of that, he's talking about the Joker is going to show up. The Snyder Cut, which I think we talked about either last week or the week before. Um, Jared Leto said he was going to come back and do
Mm.
like a cameo or like a small scene. And Zack Snyder's saying he has like a totally new look for him. Um, and Grace Randolph described it as video game esque good. Uh, however you want to put that, I guess it's like Arkham style good. Like
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like Arkham had a very distinct look, but then if you played, and we've both played actually,
yeah,
Injustice 2. Like when he
yeah,
shows up in that, he actually has a much more Jared Leto kind of look.
yeah,
But
definitely,
like it feels and looks really good. I think in that,
yeah.
like they kind of
Uh,
almost found the Jared Leto by giving him just more lines and like purpose in the video
yeah.
game.
I mean,
Um,
either way, I think this is interesting. I think it's good that he's gonna do his own spin with it,
yeah,
um, rather than the weird. I mean, I'm sure it's still gonna be like somewhat weird because whatever we saw from Suicide Squad, it was weird.
yeah, I agree.
But I was kind of into it. I kind of liked it a little bit. I was
Yeah,
interested
everyone
to see
likes
where else.
getting a little weird.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I I just thought like if he had more time, I think it would have been something interesting, and it was interesting for what it was. It was just like, like
Yeah, that whole movie was kind of like, ugh.
yeah. So I don't know. That's an interesting thing he's talking about the Joker. Um, but then the other big thing that came out from this interview was there's only 4 to 5 minutes of new photography in the movie.
Yeah,
Um, now, this is the thing that the headlines are running all week from the interview. This was like the big thing because people have been speculating since the Snyder Cut got announced how much new shit is going to be in this movie.
yeah,
Um, and we've known for a few months now it's going to be like a 4 hour cut. We're talking about like 4 hours, like 4 hour long episodes that form into one movie type of thing.
hmm
But overall, there's only 4 to 5 minutes of new content that's being shot with this budget that Warner Brothers is paying HBO Max to do,
yeah,
or HBO Max is paying Snyder to do, um, which I think is uh, it's kind of expected. Zach always was talking about this, like, like it's been done, like
hmm
everything's been done. I just need like, all the special effects work to be done. Um, so I don't know if it's like too different than what he's been saying. I don't know. What do you think of this news of this 4 or 5 extra minutes?
yeah. I think that it definitely is like. So first of all, when you hear that, and then you hear what I said like 5 minutes ago, where I'm like $70 million,
Yeah, exactly.
you go, how the fuck are you spending $15 million a minute? Like stop.
Right.
Or like you know what I mean. And granted, film can be that expensive. Like
Yeah,
you got to get everyone together. You got to pay the actors just to show up. They've already been paid. You know what I mean? So like, they're
sure.
not just going to take less. They're like, this is how much it costs for me to do anything.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I think that a lot of it is probably I don't even I don't even know what the 4 minutes could be. Because I think a lot of it is like what you said. It's going to be taking the old footage that like was going to be deleted scenes,
Yeah,
actually spending the money to do the CGI for them. Because they didn't like obviously you don't do the CGI for everything if you think you're going to cut something.
yeah, right.
Um, you're going to have to pay someone to re-edit the film. You're going to have to honestly you're probably going to have to pay someone to even just redo all the special effects again.
Yeah,
Because I
I
think
think it's
Joss
all new
Whedon,
special effects things.
yeah, because Joss Whedon kind of fucked up the whole thing Like the entire end scene is just like pure red. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was disgusting.
Yeah, and like that wasn't a part of Zack Snyder's original vision at all. So he's gonna have to get that whole thing redone.
Yeah, that whole color
Um,
work has to be thrown out and
yeah,
start.
yeah. I don't know. I
I,
mean, like honestly, the 4 minutes just to me, I'm thinking it's all just like quick pickup shots, like just dialogue.
yeah, he was saying in the interview that part of it he actually did over Zoom. Like he
Mm.
was directing Ezra Miller over Zoom, and Ezra was on like a set with like a full crew.
Mm.
Uh, but Zach couldn't be there because of the coronavirus and stuff.
Yeah, where is Ezra Miller overseas? Is he a
I
British
don't
dude?
know. I don't know where he is. But I just remember him talking about that in the interview. But I don't know. I think you're right though. The whole like, what are we spending all this money on? I think
Mm.
I think it has to do with, like you said, the special effects, the re-editing, the recoloring. Obviously this new stuff that they had to shoot. Um, and it, when we think about it, like there's going to be so much editing involved in this project because the theatrical cut is what, like 2.5 hours, 2 hour 45 minutes,
Yeah,
and now this new version is going to be 4 hours, and it's like the amount of editing it's going to take to put that together cohesively, it's going to be fucked. Like,
yeah. No,
and
I
have that
agree.
all color corrected and in unison, and everything's hitting the right notes. It's going to be nuts. It's like so much time. I can't even explain. Like,
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's almost like making. It's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Also, Ezra Miller's from New Jersey.
oh, okay. Well, I don't know if they shot in New Jersey, but they were
No,
shooting
I mean,
something.
yeah. I guess
Shooting
it's
something somewhere.
if you really if you're trying to stay safe, it's like the less people on set, the better.
Yeah, yeah,
So
definitely. I think what he was saying, it was like a minimal crew, and like he didn't even want to be there, so he just called in over Zoom and was like giving direction through Zoom, which
yeah,
was innovation through the coronavirus. I don't
yeah.
know.
I also this is actually kind of just a smaller thing, but it is interesting that like I guess so like it was a while ago, right? Ezra Miller had gotten into like some sort of altercation with a I don't even like somebody in like Europe. He like
It's like Spirit Halloween
yeah, he like
or like a
choke
party
slammed somebody
city.
onto the ground or something like that, right? And it was like this whole weird altercation, and like I feel like I read somewhere that like she asked him to do it, and he was like, "Okay, here we go," and
Yeah,
then
and then they
like
started recording like as like they said, "All right, let's do it," and then
yeah,
it just looked terrible.
but
It looked
like
terrible
yeah,
already.
none of that was confirmed, and like the story just kind of like that was it, like you just say it, and
Yeah,
then that's it. So I
yeah.
guess that means that like everything was fine because if we're using like if we're shooting with Ezra Miller again, that means that he was not canceled.
Yeah,
So I guess that's good to know. Just a little quick sidebar. My boy is he's alive.
yeah. Thank God. I mean, well, I hope that woman's alive. I've just seen it because it didn't look good.
No, it's pretty quick.
It was. I mean, I don't know. Apparently, allegedly, he was fucking around, but we don't
Yeah,
even have concrete details. I don't even want to get into
yeah, we gotta
it.
go.
I hope that is legally disputed. Whatever the fuck happened in that
Yeah,
video.
everything's fine.
Everything's fine though. That's not for us to comment on. um, but I don't know. That's really all like the new Snyder Cut stuff that we have. Um, I'm assuming we're gonna get some kind of, maybe we'll get a trailer in like February, March,
Yeah, I agree.
maybe.
No, hold
Um,
up, hold up.
oh,
I'm going to Google it really quick. I believe what I just saw while looking up Snyder Cut, while looking up articles.
mhm.
Go to the news. Uh, where did I see it? I saw somewhere an article that was saying there was going to be a new trailer for it next week.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot faster than I thought.
Let me
Okay.
see if I can find it. Yeah, Screen Rant 2 days ago. New Justice League Snyder Cut trailer releasing next week. Zack Snyder confirms a new trailer for the Snyder Cut is coming next week on the 3-year anniversary of the film's release.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
So there we go.
we could
Look
probably
at
talk about that next week then.
that. Cutting edge, cutting edge news.
Breaking on the spot.
Yeah. And I don't know what's the
Let's-
exact day. Hold up. Justice League
Um,
2017.
yeah,
Let me
I have
find
no
the
idea.
exact day for everyone so we can tune in. Holy 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. November 15th in Sweden. Well, that's not fucking helpful. Why would Sweden be the first place? November 17th in the US, so tomorrow.
Oh, all right. Well,
Apparently, there's going to be a trailer tomorrow for the Snyder Cut. So, whoever's watching, day one, thank you for watching and tune in.
tune in next week. We probably will discuss this trailer. If
Yeah.
it, unless it's just like footage we've already seen, then we might have to talk about it. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
we'll see.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. In the meantime, we got to jump to our that Wonder Woman topic we were talking about.
Yes, this is interesting. So, Wonder Woman, as we've been saying, has not moved its release date for Christmas. It's lined up for Christmas right now,
Mm-hmm.
and it hasn't been moving, even though everything else around it has been moving, like Black Widow and every other movie in the world.
Yeah.
So we were kind of speculating over the past couple of weeks. It's like, are they going to send it to the theater to bomb? Or are they going to just drop it on HBO Max? Are they going to push it back? And it looks like there's a little bit of like a push and shove going on behind the scenes with this. Warner Brothers wants to push it to June, around the same time as Black Widow ish. They want to push it to June, get it out of the way. Hopefully the vaccines come by then. Theaters start opening up. It might be a good time.
Yeah.
But AT&T, at like you just brought up, John, Disney, they just had their earnings call, and Disney Plus is really carrying the company right now in a lot of ways. So AT&T, the parent company of Warner Brothers, is calling Warner Brothers and DC and saying, "Hey, get this shit on HBO Max, because what else are we gonna fucking do with the platform? I mean, like, we have the platform, but like, sell the shit. Like, let's go." Like,
yeah. If I remember correctly, it's either AT&T owns Warner Media or Warner Media owns AT&T, but whichever one's the tippy top, probably AT&T.
yes, I believe AT&T is.
They, because of that merger, they inherited tons of debt, and just obviously spending that much money is ridiculous, right? Like, you just have so much, like, you're fucked.
Yes.
And like they instantly thought they were going to be making more money, and then no one's making any money, right? So like they're getting, there's zero return on their current investment for like getting all this stuff.
Yeah.
So they've been just cutting stuff, like violent, chopping everything off. Like there was a rumor that they were going to sell off their entire video game division, which if you're a fan of video games, we're talking about some of the best and like most popular selling games and published like in studios on the planet. Like billions and billions of dollars. Like there was a rumor at one point Microsoft was going to give them $9 billion for that. That's where they're lobbing off money. Like they just need it. You know what I mean? Like they can't wait for Mortal Kombat 12, I think is the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yeah, the fact that like, they got decisions to make, and like, this is obvious. Like it's a fun article and it's kind of like light, but like this is very serious. This is the difference between like, we need, do we get $1 billion in 9 months, or do we get 500 million today? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like right now. It's like, how fast do we want to play this fucking thing? Because we have it, it's ready. And it honestly, if they drop it on HBO Max, it's gonna pop. Like their subscriptions will fly. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. I would think you even turn off I know it's like a dick thing to do, but you turn off your free week trials for like the first week it comes out.
Oh my god, yeah, they could totally do that.
Everyone pay it, or like you just do like a Disney Plus thing where it's like,
yeah, pay $30 behind it's like behind a paywall.
Yeah.
On top of the subscription, it's like, oh, okay, go fuck myself.
I mean, I don't think they would do it that expensive. I think it'd probably be like 15 and 15 or 15 and 20.
Right.
Because I think it's 15 for the subscription.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
This is very interesting. Honestly, I didn't anticipate this a few weeks ago, but should have, honestly, because when it comes to the big bucks, the big companies like AT&T, I mean, like Disney's just Disney.
Yeah.
Nobody's up above them. So they're going to ultimately make their decision. But when AT&T's knocking at the door at Warner Brothers and saying, "Hey, where's our fucking money?" Like they got to do something.
Yeah.
So
I think even for both of them, I think just as publicly traded companies, and like I hate to say that everyone's beholden to shareholders because you really don't have to listen to them if you don't want to. Like,
no,
they
yeah,
could say nothing and Disney would still make money and everyone would still buy the stock. But like the blood is in the water, you know what I mean? For both of them.
yeah,
Like people are circling, fans are fucking thirsty, investors are thirsty. Like everyone wants the blood.
yeah.
So I guess the question is, yeah, like is it worth holding on or do you try to like I don't know, like capture attention?
Well, here's an interesting question.
Mm,
So we've talked about Zack Snyder potentially running his own mini universe in HBO Max,
yeah.
which Wonder Woman is in.
Yep.
Uh, so obviously Warner Brothers wants us in a theater. It makes sense for it to be in a theater. It was always meant to be there, etc.
Yep.
Um, the Batman's coming out. This is a totally separate universe that they're talking about. Maybe jumpstarting
Yep.
a different universe, or maybe tying him into the current Snyderverse with Flash and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Would it make sense for Warner Brothers to now say, you know what? Let's just throw Wonder Woman on HBO Max. It'll set up. It's gonna tee right up into the Snyderverse stuff. When he starts producing more film content for us, like, doesn't make sense for them to just say, you know, fuck it, let's just go straight to HBO Max and drop it there.
I really don't know.
I don't think they plan that far ahead,
Yeah, I think
personally.
you would have to come back and do like at least like a pickup shot for some sort of like after the credits Snyderverse teasing.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think that if they genuinely believed that streaming was like the imminent future, they wouldn't be trying to put things in cinema. Like they would just,
Yeah.
because and we're gonna talk about it because our topic later is also about cinema. But
Hmm.
people are like, "Oh, movie theaters are dead. Netflix fucking killed them.
Yeah.
Like it's over. Nobody gives a crap about them anymore." Like movies don't even want to go to them. They just rather like there's not even money in it.
Yeah.
And I feel like all of that argument really comes crumbling down when it's like, you know, movie theaters are closed indefinitely.
Yep.
They're struggling financially. People have fully edited movies that they can just upload and sell to you direct for $30 and you would fucking buy it.
Yep.
And somehow they're not doing that. And like I also there's no contract. Like they don't have to fucking put it in the theater. I mean, some like some movies do have contracts, but usually the contract is much more weighted. Like, when Disney puts out a movie, they're like, you're going to show our movie in the biggest theater 5 times a day or
Yep.
we're leaving. Like all the power is on the actual film.
Yeah.
So it's like if they really thought they could make more money by selling it to you in the more consumer friendly, genius way at home, they would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, like, I don't know. I don't even know where I started, but like, is cinema dying? Apparently, fucking not.
Apparently not. I
Like,
mean,
the theater
they're
is
fighting.
making more money than everything, and like, they don't give a fuck. They want you to do that. Like, they need you to come out. So I think HBO's probably, or Warner, probably saying no. I think they
Yeah.
probably want you, like, even with what you're saying, like, we've talked about it a little bit on the podcast. Uh, I I don't think that they would make an HBO universe. I think they would make a movie universe.
Yeah.
I think
It would just
maybe
be a separate universe.
yeah, like maybe it comes to HBO quicker than other streaming, like you know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's
Right.
out like only a month after it's on HBO Max or like
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I think they give Zack Snyder the whole fucking keys back. They're like, "Listen, man, you want to make a movie? Make a movie. Like, let's make some money."
Yeah.
You know what I
Sure.
mean? And I think Zack Snyder wants to make film. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, he's working on that zombie project over at Netflix right now.
Yeah,
Uh, so he has other ideas in mind other than just the superhero stuff.
yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I
but it's just
think
interesting how it's all like playing together behind the scenes as we speculate and somewhat know. But
yeah.
um, I don't know. I hope it goes to the theater. I think it should go to the theater. I hope all these movies that have been like stuck on hold
You
and
know,
stuck on pause, it's where they belong.
yeah. I think no
Like,
matter what they are, like I know, like you could, people are saying Like even Mulan, right? Like Mulan went straight to video.
Yeah,
Guarantee when the cinema opens up, Mulan's gonna be there.
yeah. They could just drop Mulan again and be like, "You didn't see it, did you?
Yeah, like we
You
like go
didn't buy the
fucking.
paywall."
I mean, even if you didn't, like if you liked it, like if I, if they drop
Yeah, you
Wonder
could go
Woman
again.
December, and I like it, and then they're
Hmm.
like, "Yo, you want to go see it in a comfy chair with like a big fucking soda that you wouldn't drink at home because you're like that's too much soda." Fuck yeah, bro.
Yeah, I'll be
Like
there.
yeah,
Catch me
like
there.
extra buttery popcorn, getting out of the house, like I'll any day of the week.
Yeah, I
So
think part of this rumor actually with this Wonder Woman thing is that they might keep the current release date for like January or something.
yeah,
Drop drop it in the theater, and then a month later go direct to HBO Max.
yeah.
So it's like,
Bloomberg. Hold on, let me read the article real quick. Yeah, Bloomberg was suggesting it would stick to Christmas,
yeah,
and then HBO would get it a week or two later.
yeah.
So like
So that was
probably like
also
January 1st. Yeah.
a floated idea, but I don't think that's a good idea. To be honest, not worth it. It's more worth it if you send it to the theater when it's more safe and more people want to go out.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's a whole it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. I hope Wonder Woman. I hope they push it back.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I hope they push it back to June. As much as I'd like to see it myself.
Yeah.
Uh, but that pretty much wraps up our news for the week. So we're gonna scoot on over to our discussion topic this week, which we didn't announce last week because we didn't have a plan.
Mm-hmm.
But as we told you last week, you had to tune in this week to figure out what the fuck it was. So I hope you're here. This week we're gonna be talking about what will movie theaters look like in 50 years, or what does the future of cinema look like? Um, Obviously, with movie theaters shut down right now, it's a little hard to gauge.
It's
We're kind of in a
looking
limbo
bleak.
state. It's looking rough out there, but ultimately, I think John and I would both agree in the long run they will survive. It's going to be a rough start back up, but I think inevitably they will survive and come back.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here, hold up.
that being said,
I'm gonna send you the picture that I'm using because I think it's actually relevant to the conversation
okay,
for the background here. But yeah, I mean, like just jumping into it, unless you
yeah,
had some
I
like
like this.
preliminary topic. So this right here is a for those of you viewing, this is a theoretical. It's a design for a movie theater in Paris, France. I don't know why they're
Yeah,
watching Tron Legacy. I mean, I do because it's fucking good. But this is the theoretical design for like their newest like one of their newer theaters. I think
yeah.
that this right here is the
It's the
future of cinema.
future of cinema.
Yeah,
It's the fucking Jedi Council or the
yeah,
the
it's
uh,
the
the
Senate.
Senate. Yeah, it's the Senate
Yeah, I
from
think
Star Wars.
yeah, 50 years is like a very ambitious time frame. Cinema as a concept is only around 150 years old, so it's
Yeah.
like a third of the time. Like I always think it's crazy. I have to remind myself that even in 2020, video games are only 50 years old. Like I know
Yeah.
people born before video games, before color television. Like
Yeah.
the rapid pace of society as a whole, wild, right?
Mhm.
So like estimating 50 years, who knows? It's too much.
Sure.
Like I'll be retired, we'll be retired. Like what the fuck? I can't even. Unfathomable amount of time for someone that hasn't lived it. I'll be honest.
Right. Right.
It's more than twice our lifetimes. 50 years. The whole thing's fucked, right? Granted, if we did take that right, if we took how theater has evolved in our lifetime, uh, really hasn't.
I mean, it has a little bit. I was gonna
Yes.
say, like,
So
we've progressed a good amount. I
yeah,
mean,
I just mean like
when
the core concept, right?
sure. I mean, the core concepts are always going to be there. It's like the foundation of a
Yeah.
house.
Well,
You always used to go to the theater and you get your popcorn, your soda, you sit down, and you watch the movie on the big screen.
yeah,
But nowadays, you have reclining chairs, and instead of just popcorn, you might get a hot dog. You might
yeah,
get some.
which you shouldn't.
Well, yeah, you probably should. You can get whole course meals. You've seen this shit at certain AMC's. You like it's a full sit down dinner.
Yeah, okay. So those AMC's I respect. Like if you're gonna have like a AMC where it's like we have like a dine-in option and you can order a meal and it comes to your like you're almost sitting more at like a table
Yeah,
like that. All good. if you're at like a regular movie theater and you're like, get me like the chili cheese fries and like the get me like the bucket of chicken, like you gotta
Big
stop,
no.
bro. Like you gotta fucking
Big no.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, like I guess thinking about what has changed because like the core is there. Because I think when people think of the future, they either think one, it's dead, or two, it's like all in VR or some crazy nonsense.
Yeah.
But in the past 20, 25 years that we've been going to movies, it's really, what have we got? We got, I guess, reclining seats. Assigned seating in the U.S. is becoming much more popular.
Yeah.
Used to be a free for all. IMAX, Dolby Atmos, I guess. Like 3D kind of came and then it went.
Yeah. It's kind of done with.
I guess that's
4D
really the
has
biggest
had
thing.
its
Like they
moment.
tried 3D and like everyone was like, this is the future. And like 4D, yeah, like shaking chairs and stuff.
Yeah, it had
And
its
it,
moment. Now it's more of like an amusement park like gimmick
yeah, it was
type
kind
of
of like,
thing.
well, fuck that. Which,
Yeah. It's like, who cares?
yeah, I mean, I guess that's
But
actually a really interesting point. Just because if you think about, like, if you asked us, I think in 2005, like where we thought cinema was headed, it was like, oh, like 3D everything.
yeah,
You know what I
probably.
mean? And then it just ended up being more of a gimmick, and like it ended up just kind of sucking.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it was also more complicated. Like it was so wasteful. Like just buckets and buckets of like one-time use
Just
3D glasses.
plastic 3D glasses. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
but yeah, I
I don't
mean,
know.
yeah. So anyway, I guess to get back on topic to the future, right? So looking at the picture that I sent, the Paris, France concept theater.
I like this.
Yeah, I like this a lot because I think one of for those of you that don't remember, I can't even remember the last time I said it on the podcast. It might have been the first episode. I worked at a movie theater, like a smaller movie theater. There's 3 screens for almost like 5 years, like through high
Yeah.
school, through college, all part time. But like, when people asked, because it was a small theater. It was like the people who came that were regulars really liked the more, I guess, quiet atmosphere of it. Our biggest
Yeah.
theater was like 100 seats versus AMC, which like the minimum is 100. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always thought that like the answer to cinema further was less like seeing it with like 1,000 people in a room and more you would buy like one of these pods, but then it would just be you in the pod with like a smaller screen, like maybe like 100
Okay.
inches.
Yeah.
And that way it would be you and your friends in a room. And like if you felt like you wanted to talk, you could. And
Yeah.
you'd like more buy, like, you'd probably buy a room instead of buying like seats.
Yeah.
And
It's more of
it,
like a private experience.
yeah. And like you could be with your friends. And again, I think a lot of people, like, I don't think you should talk during movies, but
Yeah.
there are a lot of people who do, they do say things. I'm prone to whisper like, "Holy fuck, that's sick." Um, but there's people who do like to talk, and there's people who do like to just kind of like enjoy like a moment with their friends.
Yeah. Definitely.
And especially like I think it almost changed. Like like at that point you can let people screen whatever they want. You could like add a Netflix option where you like just name a movie and we'll fucking screen it to you.
Yeah.
And like that way you could do a more like fun experience where like you're laughing with your friends and making jokes over a bad movie or whatever.
Sure.
I
And you
think
have like a Netflix experience that's in a theater that you can
yeah,
choose. Like, yeah.
and I think that like also then you get the options to the popcorn and the drinks, and if I guess if you want your hot dogs and shit, like you can do that.
Right.
But I think this is like a happy medium. Honestly, probably even a better idea to what I had, where like you are kind of secluded in your own box. So
Yeah.
like when you're buying your tickets, you find like an empty one. You're like, all right, like me and my 15 friends, or like even if you just have like 3 people, I think it'd be kind of like almost more reserved to yourself.
Hmm.
And I think you could even do like you could put the sound directly into those railings. Like if everyone has like these nice circled rails, like you could put the sound in there. You could put noise cancelers in there, so you can almost feel like you're in your own little bubble.
Yeah.
And like I think that's what it is. It's about more like personalizing the experience while still providing the like the immensity of like the big screen and the cinematic experience.
Sure. I was actually on like a similar path myself. I was thinking about when you used to go to like a theater in like the 20s, or you see like a live show or like an actual like live performance theater,
Hmm.
you have like balconies, like You could sit in like the regular seats of the theater, or you can reserve a balcony. You
Yeah, yeah,
probably
like a
like,
theater, like with the RE, the British
yeah,
theater.
yeah, you're like sitting up higher a little bit.
Yeah,
So I thought about that. I was like, yeah, I think I could see theaters doing something like that, maybe, but in a more like, in a much more like sense of like the picture you sent. It's like the Senate, like everyone has their own little booth.
yeah,
It's much more separated. You have your own little party now, kind of. Um, and I agree. Like I think it'd be awesome if you could rent out like a big room for yourself, like a big mini theater to yourself and your friends, and just make it at night, and then all of a sudden, movie theater can have an outlet for catering. You could cater a whole event inside of a room. You
yeah,
know, um, that could be a whole thing for like birthday parties or like just like any like special event that someone wants to throw for like, holy shit, the new Star Wars is coming out. We have to go see it. And I don't want anyone else to fuck with us while we're watching this movie. I won't let anyone ruin this movie for me. I'm gonna rent this room, and we're gonna watch it on the amazing screen that AMC has for their private screening or whatever.
yeah. I think that there's
Um,
definitely. I'm trying to think of like what the optimal screen size would be, but like even if you had like a if we said like a 300-inch screen, which
yeah,
is wide, like it's huge, right? But it's not like it's bigger than anything that you would get at home, but small enough that you could fit it in a decently small sized room and get like probably 10 seats or 15 seats.
right.
And then you could put probably like if you organized it correctly, staircases, elevator, you cement all the walls so there's like soundproofing.
Yeah,
You could probably put like 30 of those in like an average sized movie theater. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
definitely.
it'd be multiple levels. It'd be it'd be a marvel to construct, right?
Yeah, sure, sure.
But I think there's something there that once it's set up, you might be able to get if you have like the active, I guess, deployment of like tons of people
Yeah,
that are using it. I think that there's something there.
definitely. And I think if that ever became a thing, it would almost be like a slow roll type of thing, where it's like, maybe we have like 4 rooms that are like private screening rooms, and
Yeah,
then we still have the whole traditional theater setup. You're always gonna have the traditional theater setup. I don't ever see that leaving.
yeah,
I think you're always gonna want that. But again, I think the private screening and the private room is gonna become. I think that will definitely become something like bigger and more prominent, just because it's appealing. Like it's definitely appealing to people
yeah. I agree.
rather than like being surrounded by like 500 people in a big ass room. Like you're just there with your friends, and it's a brand new movie like no one's seen, and it's
Yeah.
just like your own experience. Like I think there's value to that for sure.
Mm.
Um, but I don't know. That's kind of crazy. We kind of thought of the same thing, and this is a perfect picture for it. Like this whole Senate thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I agree.
I would absolutely go to this theater if it was real. Like this Paris
I
thing.
mean,
Is this like a concept, or they actually want to build this?
this is the concept for the building. I don't know if they're currently building it right now or if they changed it, but this is the design plan that they are going with.
It looks like we're going to Paris in a few years. Whatever
Yeah.
this is. Gotta check it out.
It is super cool.
The
Yeah.
Senate seat.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the future, like everything's changing so fast now, but some things are always going to kind of be in place. I think
Yeah,
that cinema is going to last a while longer than people are thinking. I don't
definitely.
think it's really going the way of the blockbuster. I think that, just having something be convenient doesn't necessarily mean that people want it that way.
Hmm.
I think that's the argument against cinema is always like, I can just watch this at home on my phone. But like, your phone, the picture, even if it gets better, like it's never going to match
It's
watching
not
it.
gonna be the same.
Yeah.
And as shitty as the pandemic has been for theaters and movies in general, the industry's been hit so hard. But um, I feel like I've seen more people voice their love and appreciation for the theater more so now than they have in the past 10 years, because the
Yeah.
past 10 years the conversation's been, how long is this going to last, how much longer are we going to really be appealing to this, and now that
They say as they go.
theoretically gone, now people are like, oh, wish we had it.
Yeah.
I hope they don't go forever. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been talking ships the past 10 years. I don't know. Like Not that people were like, get him out of here, but like, people were definitely flirting with the idea of like, this isn't gonna last,
Hmm.
which I don't think is true.
Yeah, I agree.
But
Well, if you guys have differing opinions, be sure to leave them in the comments.
yeah,
I think that we pretty much exhausted our our ideas for the future. If you're looking to start a movie theater chain or you own one and you're looking to rebrand, hit us up. We consult. Our consulting
we
fee is reasonable.
could invest.
Yeah.
Now that we've projected our future ideas of theaters, um, it looks like, well, I guess that's at the end of the topic.
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's about it for this week.
no surprise here, John. It looks like for next week we have no topic lined up.
Yeah, so actually, the reason that we do not,
Oh, that's right. I
yeah,
remember.
not super relevant to everyone's personal lives, but I am moving. I am starting a new job at an undisclosed location at an undisclosed company
Yes.
because fuck all y'all. It's my personal life. It has nothing to do with the podcast. But yeah, so like I'm going to be moving next week. I don't think I'm going to have internet on Monday when we usually record, and moving and all that blah 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 is just kind of stressful. So we're going to skip a week, I think, and
Probably.
then we'll get back. We'll figure out a topic, and we'll let everybody know if we decide to do like a movie or something. I believe I could just post like a discussion thing on YouTube. It comes up in your sub box and tells you what it's going to be.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe we could do like a little YouTube like sub post. Just be like, what do you guys think of a topic for the return?
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, we'll get back to you guys in 2 weeks, definitely, once everything's set up.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I don't know. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, favorite. I don't know what else
Please
YouTube
do.
has. You can dislike it if you want.
That hey,
Um,
that works in the algorithm.
yeah, I mean,
So
everything is, everything's good publicity. They just want clicks, they want movement.
yeah, there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed the topic and the discussion and everything. Like John said. Um, and let us know what you guys think movie theaters would be like in the future. What do you guys really think it could turn into or it should be? But that being said, I'm Billy.
Yeah, and
That's
I'm
John.
John. Yeah.
And thank you for tuning in, as
Yep.
always.
Have a good one, guys.